Hi, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is a Friday night, and I just kind of wanted to share a few things before I go to sleep. It's kind of late, and I've been studying a lot about covenant and covenant relations and how God is a covenant making God. And God has always made covenant with his creation. We know that covenant means an agreement between two parties. I came across something really interesting as far as God making covenant with man. And this is what I wanted to share with you today. The covenant of the rainbow is really, really interesting because God establishes this covenant with his people, with Noah and Noah's family, with mankind and the earth. This is what he says, that when you see the bow in the sky, then it is a reminder between you and I that I will never do this to the earth again. I will never bring a flood to destroy mankind, to destroy everything on the earth. And this is a reminder. And this is in Genesis 9:12. The token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. So, meaning throughout time, after this is going to be a constant reminder. When you see the bow in the sky, I have set my bow in the clouds. It is a verb, and the Hebrew word is Natan, which is cool because Nathan is gift from God, right? But Natan is to give, put or place there. He placed it there. He intentionally places the bow in the clouds for a reminder that he will never do this again, that he will never destroy the earth or punish the earth in this way or punish the people in this way. And it was a promise given, and he always keeps his promises. And you might say, well, there's been so many floods that have destroyed lands and have killed people and things like that. And he must have not kept his promise. But yes, he has, because that sort of proves that this was a worldwide flood, not just in one area, because there's a lot of flood in the world that is in one area and it's still going on. But this was a promise that he was never going to do this again to the earth, a worldwide flood. So what is interesting about this bow, I was studying this, you come to Hosea 2:16-23, and in Hosea, the sign of the covenant was the breaking of the bow, while in Genesis, the sign is the setting of the bow in the clouds. And what's interesting about that is the bow in Hosea and in other parts of the Bible, the bow was always a weapon of war, was always a symbol, something that represented war. And those are in 2 Samuel 1:18, 2 Samuel 22:35, Psalms 18:34, Hebrews 3:9. So if you think about it, how this is a weapon of war and God is setting his bow in the air, if you look at it, it is in the position of the bow. When you are doing a bow and arrow, you are aiming it and you let go and it goes and shoots to where you're aiming. When he sets this bow in the clouds, it is in a resting position where the arrow, if the arrow was set on the bow, it would be away from the earth. So it's a symbol of God was relenting. God was not going to punish the earth in this way. So this was a symbol of a divine promise, a reminder of an agreement set by God that he would put aside the weapon of war against man and the earth. Isn't that so neat? The rainbow was a promise for the people of God. It was a promise that he was going to set aside this weapon of war, and he was not going to punish the earth. Covenant, as far as the people of God realizing every day that God makes promises, God keeps his promises, God keeps his covenant, and the enemy always wants to steal God's glory, always wants to take our eyes off of the promises of God and onto something that is not even relevant, or something that's not even important. So the rainbow has been a symbol of God's promise, yet the world has taken it and making it their own and making it another covenant. Is exactly what Satan is always constantly doing. Covenant is being made throughout the nation, throughout the world. Covenant is being made by the enemy, the God of this world, so he can have a stronghold on the nation, on people, individuals, families, and towns and cities and the world. And once we realize this, we will look at things a little bit differently. I mean, really, the way things are going in the world right now, it is so evident that the world is getting worse and worse because covenant relationships, covenant is being made by the enemy, and he is grabbing as many people to support this movement and to support that movement. Like I said before, if an ancient spirit is able to get a nation to agree, then you have a stronghold. You have a stronghold on a people and on a nation. And it's very, very hard to break a spiritual stronghold such as one that is over a nation, one that is over a people that comes together in agreement, because this is what Satan wants. He wants to get as many people to agree, so that has more of a stronghold, that has more of a pull, that has more of strength. There is strength in numbers, right? So in the beginning, God wanted to make sure that his people was going to keep his covenant. He wanted to make sure that there was a remnant, there was a people that was going to be set aside for God and set aside for his purposes. And many fell away, and they continue to fall away. Even God's people, look at Adam and Eve, they messed up, and we keep messing up. And God wanted to establish his people to make covenant. So in Exodus 34:12, it says, "Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee." So he's saying, look, as you go into the land that you are going to inhabit, make sure you don't make covenant with the land, with the people of the land, with their traditions and with what they do and with the gods that they serve. Make sure that you do not do what they do, because if you do, it's going to be a snare to you. It's going to be something that you're going to regret, because God has made covenant. And it's like a marriage. A marriage is a covenant between two people. And when that covenant is broken, then hearts are broken and a family is broken. The same thing with God. God makes covenant with his people. And when that covenant is broken, then hearts are broken. Then a family is broken. So, I really, I thought that was really interesting as far as the bow being placed in the sky, and just a reminder of how God makes covenant with His people, and how the enemy also makes covenant. He is an imitator. He is a counterfeiter. He wants to do the things that God has initiated, and he wants to copy. So take heed, okay? Listen to your agreements. Listen to what comes out of your mouth that goes, and listen to what you hear, and what goes into your mind and what goes into your heart and comes out of your mouth. Because everything that comes out of your mouth, you're making agreement, and you are making covenant with whatever it is that you're agreeing with. With the things in your life, the things that you say that you'll never do, but you do, the things that you tell yourself, oh, I will never do that, or I can't do that, or I am this, or I'm that. That is making covenant. That is making agreement with either the enemy or the truth of God. So you make the choice. You make the choice. So if God says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, then believe that. Believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Do not allow the enemy to get into your head, to settle in your heart, and it comes out of your mouth. So God has placed his bow in the air, in the sky. He has made covenant promises that he totally keeps every single day. And so should we. So should we. So let's strengthen our hearts to do what God wants. Chazak, strengthen the heart, and be just an ambassador for the Lord. The Lord's coming soon, and I wanted just to encourage you. Say only the things that are meant for good comes out of your mouth. God bless you. Thank you for letting me share.